Travis used him in for a long time. What's his bounce back ability like after a play like the other day?
I mean, he's just the same. He's the same guy every day. Doesn't get too high or too low. That's something I love about him. So, I think he's going to respond great. He always has. Like you said, we've played together for, this is year 7, I guess, year 7 together. So, of course, with both of us, we've seen each other both have some plays that we want back, and I think we both have a lot of confidence in one another to bounce back, and you know what you're going to get out of him. So, yeah, I'm excited for him.
Thoughts on the Browns defense, and how much do you go back to maybe last year's game with them to get ready for this one?
Yeah, really good defense. They present a lot of challenges. Obviously, just physical group. You look at obviously the 2 edge guys they have, Myles Garrett, it's Darius Smith. I mean, both those guys are great players. So obviously, everybody knows Myles and what he can do, but it's more than just him. It's the whole defense, the scheme. They play fast. They know what they're doing. It's fairly simple. They have some good pressure stuff that's really good. But beyond that, it's pretty simple. They just have really good players. They're well coached. They know where to be, when to be there. They're physical. They're good at diagnosing plays, kind of beating you to spots. So there's a bunch of challenges they present, and some of the stuff obviously that last year we had the tape against them that we struggled with. We want to improve on. We had our opportunities as well though, and didn't hit a lot of those plays. So whether it's run game or pass game, so we know there's some opportunities. Obviously, they're a really good defense though, so there's going to be some challenges.
What does it say about Brian that it seemed like Miami was already giving him a ton of respect early on? Like, is it just what does that say about him?
Yeah, I mean, just the type of player he is. I mean, obviously, I have no idea what Miami was thinking going in because he's a rookie and not a ton of tape out there from the preseason. He made some splash plays here and there, but you don't have much to go off of. But just to see how they would cover him, and Jalen followed him around a little bit and all that deal. It wasn't all the time, but obviously they have a lot of respect for him. And then especially after that play early in the game when he ran the post over the top, did a great job at the line against Jalen. I think they really had even more respect for him after that. And that moving forward, it kind of changes how you cover a guy like that the rest of the game when that happens early. So I think that's only going to help us, his ability. The cool thing about him is he's just no moment's too big for him. He's a gamer and just shows up ready to play every time he goes out there. So that's exciting to see as a quarterback, just some of the plays he made. Doesn't seem like a rookie at all. Has that quiet confidence about him and not always quiet. Like I saw him talking to Jalen after that play in the end zone was pretty cool. So that got us all juiced and amped up just to see that competitive fire come out. I think that's awesome to see out of anybody, but especially a young guy like that with the confidence he has.
Was that the most you've seen him talk?
I mean, now that I've been around him a lot, he's opened up a little bit, but definitely like on the field, you haven't seen as much of that, and that came out when the lights came on. So I love seeing that. I think that's half the battle of the sport, but especially like receiver, DB, that confidence piece and having that fire, like that's important. So it was cool to see it come out.
You mentioned on Sunday that you felt like you had to make plays on that last drive. After watching it back, what more could you have done?
Yeah, I think honestly, there's a couple plays I went back from the game. I thought overall, I did the right thing with the ball. I was accurate. There were some things I liked that I did and that we did as an offense, but it's probably 2 plays that stick out to me. Early in the game, it was like a 3rd and 23 or something. I should have just checked it down. Probably don't get the first down, but taking care of the ball, doing the right thing. I tried to kind of fit one in early to Evan that hit off the safety's hands. Like that's when I went back, and then the second down, that last drive, we were in empty again. I just tried to accelerate my read a little bit too much and should have just stuck to my rules and, took an easy completion and kept it in 3rd and manageable and tried to scramble and went right into a game with the DN. So that sack's on me. I kind of ran right into the game that they did up front. So those are the 2 main plays, honestly, that I feel like I went back and that I could have done something better with. And there's a few other plays too. I could be a little bit more accurate, do some other things, but those are the ones that really stick out to me. So that was really more what I meant, is especially on that second down on the last drive of I felt like I could have definitely gotten a completion and kept us in 3rd and manageable instead of getting us into 3rd and I don't know what it was, 11, 12, I forget what it was, but something like that.
What was it like your first game with Mitch Morris?
It was great. The communication was awesome. I thought the whole excuse me, I just worked out. I'm still out of breath a little bit. But I thought the whole group up front did a great job. Protection was really good. I thought that was a bright spot for us for sure. And obviously Mitch is leading the group up there, and I thought he did an awesome job. Was physical, communicated really well, clearly on the road. It was loud at times, and there was a couple, I think 1 or 2 delay games, and those are on me. Like I got to move a little bit faster and communicate faster. But as far as him, I thought he did a great job and was very decisive on what he wanted to do.
With Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis being 2 new receivers, did it give you more confidence in that connection and chemistry going out there and having some success throwing the football to them?
Definitely. You look at, obviously, played a lot of football with Christian, Evan, Travis, Parker came along strong last year at the end of the year. But you look at Gabe and Brian, those are the 2 new guys that weren't here. So that's something you want to see, is just that chemistry and all that. It was great in week 1, and we got to continue to build off of it. It doesn't surprise me at all, just because we put a lot of work in. I've seen them in practice, and those guys are just gamers, both of them, honestly. They'll go out and make the play. So doesn't surprise me at all, and it's great having those guys and them impacting the game and contributing this early in the system and getting comfortable. I think it's awesome. It's just going to keep growing.
This team has shown some resiliency over the years. You feel like this is an easy one to bounce back from? You feel like it's done, it's over with, washed, moving on?
Yeah, that's kind of the whole. That's this league. It happens. It sucks, and you want to do everything you can to not let it happen. And 100%, we should have won the game. Self-inflicted things. That's why we lost, and we gave it away in our opinion. But we know that, and you can't do that in this league. And that's where credit Miami. They made the plays, so you can't ever take anything away from another team, because we've been in that same position where we've won games like that. So we know where we're at. It's week 1. Of course, every game's important, so we don't take it lightly. But we also understand it is a long season, and we have a lot of confidence in our team and the group we have, and we do need to improve and not make those mistakes and not continue to make those mistakes. There were some things in the game where we have to get better, but I also think, if you watch the game and you really look at it play for play, there was a lot of bright spots. We did a lot of good things, and moving forward, that gives us a lot of confidence. So that's stuff that we're going to correct, we're going to fix, and we have to. So you can't take it lightly. You have to be really intentional this week to improve and learn from those things. But at the end of the day, it is the NFL, and you got to move on. If you're still thinking about how the game went on Sunday, on Wednesday, we're trying to get ready for the Browns. We can't be thinking about the Dolphins anymore.
It's important not to press.
100%.
Yeah, like to
Yeah, you can't get. It's the same thing. Don't get too high or too low. You can't be down in the dumps too much and beat yourself up and let it affect your confidence. But you also can't try to do too much and try to make of course you try to make every play, but go out of your responsibility and your job to make every play and do too much. Just play your game, trust your coaching, trust our system, talking offensively, and it'll come to you. I feel like we have a great plan, a great process, and you just have to keep trusting it. We were in position to win this game, and because of a great week of prep, and obviously we didn't make a couple plays down the stretch. That's what happened. It's simple as that, and you move on to the next week.
You had a terrible amount of snaps in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Was that partially the reason why it just turned out that Brian Thomas just didn't get any targets in the second half? Because sometimes it just happens. Receiver gets hot, but I'm sure there's no intention.
Yeah.
When a play starts, okay, I'm going to target this guy on this play.
No, you obviously there's a full range of stuff. There's some plays where you might be trying to take a shot to a certain guy and you're hoping that that's the guy that's open because that's what you want, but you got to progress through it and it doesn't work out that way. That happened plenty in the game. Every week that happens. So then there's a lot of just drop back stuff or it's quick game or whatever, and I'm just getting it to, if it's zone, I'm getting it to whoever's open, and it's not always going to be. You never know who it's going to be. So those happen, and then there's definitely plays where, like I said, you're trying to get it to either him or Gabe or Christian or Evan or whatever, and it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. Maybe it's a different coverage. Maybe you get to a run play. So many factors go into it. So it's a lot harder to just – it's not like we're not trying to get guys the ball. I also think in the second half we had so many 3-and-outs because we couldn't stay on the field, so we didn't get many plays in general. I think we ran 50-ish plays in the game, so – it's tough. That's not the goal for us. We want to run a lot more plays than that, keep our defense off the field. And, when you have all those 3-and-outs, you can't ever settle in and really get in a rhythm like we did on the long drive when we were backed up in the second half. We got a great drive going, got in a rhythm, and that was really the only one. So, we got to stay on the field is the main thing.
When Brian made the catch against Kansas City in preseason, everybody was celebrating on the sideline. Everybody seems to be enjoying the fact that he Sure, Jalen, what does that say about the way your guys' relationship is with him? Sort of like you're proud of your little brother for you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, yeah, I mean, it's obviously, we have an older, let's say, not really old, but an older group of some veteran guys. I mean, you look at Evan's been in the league a while, Christian, Gabe, myself, I'm getting there now. Played a lot of football at this point in my career, and so a young guy comes in, and I think the biggest thing too is the type of player he is, and we've seen it on the field, and we know what he can be and what he's becoming already. So you want to see him make all those plays, and then also his personality to go with it. He's a quieter guy, kind of unassuming, and then he goes out there and just balls out, and like he'll talk a little trash, and some of that stuff's a little unexpected. So you get excited seeing that. So I think it's awesome, and just I like the way he carries himself. He's always like this. He just never flinches. I think he's awesome.
Team struggled to get wins at home last year. How important is it to protect the home field?
Super important. You got to win at home. Not just because you got to win the games to give yourself a shot at the end of the season to get to where you want to go, but also for our fans and our fan base. And we want the stadium to be packed. We want to have a home field advantage. And when we're winning, we get that towards the middle and end of the season. And when we're struggling a little bit, we've noticed that we don't necessarily get that. So that's, we got to put a good product out there, and we got to play well at home for our fans. And obviously that's huge for us, and we want to win here. And we want this to be a really difficult place to play. And obviously it is. It has been in the past at times, but we want it every week to be a tough environment to come into, and to beat us, it's going to be really hard. All right, guys. See y'all.